Hello and welcome to How to Create an Engaging Online Learning Experience with me, Tanisha Tago. Let's get started. So in terms of creating engaging online content for other people, there are three main opportunities that we have to work on making things as engaging as possible. Those three opportunities are to plan before, to take advantage of the time we have during the session, and the things that we can do just after delivering the session. So before the session, the first thing we really need to think about is planning for success. This is where we can begin to rely on elements such as the UK PFS descriptors, what we already know about lesson planning, and any other structured thinking processes that you usually would use as an educator. We need to bring this together into a lesson plan that will gain us success. So from the set of outcomes that we would have developed through this, we can begin to plan for delivery to an audience. So at this point, it's good to take the plan and begin to figure out how this would work with our audience. So we need to make sure we know our audience. This will enable us to better create content to suit the audience. The good thing here is because we are well ahead of delivering the session, we can ensure that we plan with a good mix of audio and visual information and tools. And we can also include a transcript if needed wherever possible. So have a think about all of this before the session and try to be as creative as possible. So once your session has actually kicked off, the first thing we want to do is make sure we give our attendees a nice and engaging introduction. This includes introducing yourself, any information that's relevant about what you do, any credibility factors, an introduction to the course and the reason why you've developed it, and then rolling straight into some more structured introduction information. Make sure you're mindful of the time of day, so don't say good morning if it's in the afternoon, but also try your best not to say any of the good mornings or afternoons if you're making a video that people are probably going to be watching a replay of or going to be watching in their own free time. So the next thing we want to do is acknowledge our attendees. So that would be everyone that's already in the room and people as they enter. So by this point, you haven't started delivery yet. You're just waiting for enough people to enter to save yourself repeating once you do begin the session. So once you have enough attendees in the room, you can begin to talk about the stages that they're in the learning journey. For example, if this is session 3 out of 5, you can mention that. Or if it's a standalone module, you can explain to them what role this plays in their personal learning journey. Next, you can begin to outline the session's learning outcomes and make them aware of them, and explain any formative assessments such as Q&A or quizzes that you have planned for the day. Start to make those connections with previous sessions if there have been previous sessions in the set. So just as you did with the introduction, you want to be quite lively in your delivery, so nothing exaggerated, so smiling also helps. You also want to offer as many active learning opportunities as possible, which you can do very easily by introducing some engaging content, such as screen sharing, gamification, tutorials, Q&A, quizzes, videos, or having the students give you tutorials and teaching you instead. As you go through these types of activities, ensure that you are acknowledging attendees by name and that you engage them in the formative assessments that you have set up. If you do play videos in your session, make sure that you don't let them just play on. Try and stop them every now and again to engage the attendees in some discussion on what they have just watched, and then continue on, press play again for a short period of time and some more discussion. So now we've reached the ending of the session. So the first thing you want to do if you've run any polls is make the students aware of the results if you need to. And if you've used a tool like Adobe, you actually need to broadcast the poll results before you finish the session if you're recording the session, so you can come back later and have a look at that data. Also make sure that you're checking through conversation and through listening throughout and now at the end for learning gain, just to make sure that the students have actually gained some information from your session. I personally find opening the floor for Q&A to be an easy way to achieve this goal, because you're able to then understand what questions they have and whether or not you've fully explained that during the session. So before wrapping up, just make sure you recap the learning outcomes just to remind the students what they have gained from your session, and if possible, try to be the last to leave the room. Some people do hang back to ask questions when there are less people in the room, so just bear that in mind. Okay, so we're just going to go over our learning outcomes and then wrap up our session here. So as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 key opportunities for us to take when creating engaging online content, and those are the periods of time before, during, and after running a session. Please feel free to watch the video again to take more notes if you need to. And thank you very much for watching this video. I have put a link to an evaluation form and also a link to a resource in Trello with lots of creative tools to help you to create your engaging content. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day.